Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Funhaus Podcast. I'm Armando Torres, and today I'm joined by a very diverse group of funny people. We have Justin Ingelmo.
Morning.
We have Jaime Williams.
Hola.
And we have Elise.
Oh, hey, everybody. Hailing here from Toronto.
Toronto, Ontario, Canada?
No, just
That
second
was
T.
a butcher.
No second T. Toronto.
Toronto?
Yeah.
Toronto.
I was watching a YouTube video. I'm just gonna take it from you.
Yeah,
No.
go for
I
it.
was watching. I got a suggested video, and it was great. And it's man, I can't remember the name of the channel, which sucks. But he plays like Fight Night, and he had a video where it was him trying to beat Muhammad Ali with like a really weak character. Oh, it was Butterbean or something like that. He has a bunch of these things where he sets up these fights. He'll fight on the hardest AI and try and beat like Mike Tyson with Lil Mac, like a created character. Or he created this monstrosity and then he went up against Carl Winslow, who had like the worst stats in the game or something like that. And so he would try and win these fights through this thing, and he's very charismatic commentator. The videos are really, really fun. And then like within 2 minutes of the first video I was watching, he said something and I was like, this guy's Canadian. We got a Canadian on our hands, folks.
Yeah.
No one could do this except for a Canadian. And then like maybe after watching 45 minutes worth of his videos, he was like, oh, that was a good shot, eh? And then he went, oh, I should say I'm Canadian if I didn't already convey it with the A there. And I was like, that A was just the nail in the coffin, the Canadian coffin for you, my friend. I pegged you from a mile away.
I remember watching a TV show recently. I was watching How To with John Wilson.
The best.
And it's an amazing show.
Best.
In the first episode, he meets that guy in Cancun. And I slowly started realizing as he interviewed him that guy was Canadian. And there's clues like hidden throughout it. At one point, he says something like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go out or oot or something." He gets a oot.
He's really healthy.
He's
he clearly gets annual checkups.
Yeah. He's destroying his body by smoking cigarettes, but he still like can breathe and shit. And then at one point, he goes, "What temperature is it in New York right now?" And he goes, 60, and he goes,
Ooh.
Fahrenheit. Okay.
Yeah.
But I love that because the accent's not really super pronounced. It is some places like Montreal.
Well,
Yeah, it depends on where you're from.
It's like how far do you live from the city? I'm like about 50 miles out of the city. Oh, can you tell me in centimeters?
60 clicks. Yeah, if you live in the Maritimes, you're Newfoundland especially, you're gonna have a very pronounced different accent that I can't even understand.
Can you do it?
Oh, we're gonna go down by the bay. We'll meet some guys down there, and we'll get a beer. But I've met people from there that I asked them where in the world they were from. This one man, I asked him where he was from, thinking he was maybe from like Ireland or somewhere, and he's like, "I'm from Newfoundland." And I was like, "Oh, I could not." Your accent was so heavy.
That man was Carmen Sandiego.
This is such a 180 pivot. Justin, are those high top Allbirds?
Oh yeah, they are.
I've been looking at those.
Ooh.
Those are
Sorry.
What the fuck?
Whoa! Comes through the violence inherent in the system.
They're slick.
Those are nice.
Get a shot of. There we go.
I was curious to
Not
see
of
what
me, of the shoes.
Allbirds are a sustainable
Jesus
shoe, but I
Christ.
was curious to see what the high tops look like in the wild.
They're pretty fresh.
There was
From
one
another-
point where we were out together, and I was like, I got a new pair of shoes. Have you ever heard of Allbirds? And Justin went, have I ever? And he pulled up his pant leg, and he had his Allbirds on.
You're
I was
wearing
like,
yours
whoa,
too.
Bird Brothers.
Is New Zealand in the Commonwealth, or are they just separate from the?
I don't actually know. I guess it would have been with
I think
Australia,
they
right?
aren't they on the? They
Yeah,
got the flag.
right?
These
right?
are.
It's all about the flag.
I love the Commonwealth. Like the Canadians, Australians, they're like rare gems because you hear about these countries all the time, but when you look at the stats, like Canada has a smaller population than California.
Yeah, and
It's a huge landmass.
Everybody lives along the border, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like let us in though.
So when you meet a Canadian, it's a rare treat.
Yeah.
It's especiale
I know a lot of Canadians constantly. I just keep meeting.
because we're all so funny. So
Yeah.
you probably meet a lot of us on the comedy scene.
I actually do. Yeah.
That's what I like about Canadians is that as soon as they prove their worth, they get the fuck out.
It's the weather. Honestly, I like the weather here is amazing. The Canadian winters can get a little rough.
Yeah.
There's something about Canada that like does something in your brain to twist you comedically, I think. It's the deprecation. It's the feeling like you can never rise above your station, because I think that's the national identity, is to not have one and to not feel like, Americans are boisterous in an ego people of ego, not us. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Well, I'm barely American. I'm half of it. I was watching an interview with the dudes who made Nirvana the band, the show, and they made that show initially, or part of it is through it's through the government funded TV thing, which. Please correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding of it is that a certain percentage of Canadian television has to be made by Canadians.
Yeah, I think it's 40%, and the same applies to radio. So has to be. So for example, if you're listening to the radio in Canada, I think it's 40% would have to be Canadian artists, and there are all kinds of different regulations.
Is it all Drake?
Yeah.
It's
I
all
don't know.
Drake
I mean,
and
It's 25% Drake, 15% Gord Downey.
I listen
and 100% reason to remember the great country of Canada.
I would stream 102.1 The Edge if I could get it to work and listen to it. I stream this other Canadian indie station from Toronto, and it's I love it because the radio stations here, I feel like I hear the same stuff over and over again, but I play 88.1, and
what was the Edge?
Steal My Sunshine.
102.1 The Edge.
Are they Canadian?
The
Yeah.
Edge.
What's their name again?
I always do the System of a Down, wah! Because the Edge uses that as a transition.
Did they ever partner with 88.8 Randy Orton?
I don't know. Is that a joke?
A little bit. They had their own radio station called Rated RKO. Anyway.
Canadian children's programming, unless it's changed, when I was growing up, they couldn't have as many commercials as American children's programming too, which was interesting. So we had to have ways to buffer our children's shows because we couldn't have as many toy commercials and shit.
I don't know if maybe you just categorize them differently, but if you had children's shows and then shows for teens and then shows for adults. But we, in America, when I was growing up, we got a couple of cartoons that I later found out were Canadian. And the way that I could tell that they were different from the American shows is they were allowed to say crap in them,
Wow.
which was such a strange thing to me.
They were cartoonies.
It's a bunch of crap.
Len?
Len. They're from Toronto, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
What were the Canadian children's shows?
I watched a show called Total Drama Island, which was
I
great.
remember Total Drama Island.
It was like Survivor, but it was animated and completely scripted, so they could be as stupid and wild as they wanted to be.
I don't want to pivot off of Canada that I love so dear, but did you guys see that Joe Millionaire is back?
Yeah, my roommate was handed two roses made from $3. So she was Abbot Kinney this weekend meeting a friend, which is in Venice, which is by the beach here in Los Angeles. No, go back. And so she was meeting a friend. She said she walks out onto Abbot Kinney. It's like a popular street. And she said all of a sudden there was hundreds of men in suits, and which was all coming towards her. She's first terrified. And then they all had these roses that were made from folding $3. The rose itself, the petals were dollar bills, only $3 per rose. But then they were all out passing these roses to people. And they're like, a rose for you. She's like, I don't want to buy it. And they're like, it's $3. She's like, yeah, I don't want to buy it. And they're like, no, it's literally $3 for you. And she's like, I'll have as many as you'll give me then.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is to promote the show?
It was to promote the show.
They were
What
like,
show?
only we can get
Joe
this.
Millionaire.
What's that?
So Joe
You
Millionaire.
don't know what Joe Millionaire is
No.
at all?
At least break it down because you brought it up.
Well, James and I are big Joe Millionaire fans. We both watched it when it aired in the early 2000s.
I was in college, so it must
Yeah.
have been 83.
And so the premise of the show was that they got this blue collar worker, the titular Joe,
Construction guy.
He worked in
Handsome,
construction.
rugged. He looked like a
handsome-
Disney prince.
Handsome devil.
Like me.
Handsome
sure.
devil.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
And they
Well,
put him
yeah,
in a
yeah.
bachelor-esque situation. So he's in a house with 12 beautiful women or whatever.
Like me.
And they all think that he's a millionaire, but he's a
It's the regular Joe.
But
he's a regular
but
Joe.
he's a dirty piece of
He's
shit.
a Joe millionaire. And so he wants the women to learn to love him for who he is, except his personality wasn't good
He's kinda
either.
dim.
That's him?
He was kind of dim.
He was kind of dim.
That's
the
Joe
thing that
Millionaire?
I vaguely
That's him.
remember
Yeah, look at that stunner. He looks
He's
like
actually
Eric.
pretty handsome.
He looks
Now,
like Eric.
It's been about 20 years, but if I
This is
recall,
the first guy, right?
Yeah.
yes, if
the
I
first guy.
recall correctly, he received fellatio in the bushes.
We don't know what happened.
In maybe the penultimate episode.
We don't know what happened. All we know is a subtitle that said slurp slurp.
Yeah, slurp slurp.
Slurp,
Yeah.
slurp.
Yo,
We don't. But that could be
Joe.
anything. That could be
Yeah.
anything.
And anyway, so
They've
they've
gotten ice cream.
They've brought
Yeah.
the show back for the Roaring 20 generation. And
Shut
now
the
the
fuck up.
premise is a little bit of a twist where there are two Jamillionaires and one of them is rich and one of them is poor. And so the women have to
To choose.
Yeah.
So did you watch it, Lindsay? Because I heard something went down in the first episode.
No, I haven't watched. I've only watched The Bachelor.
Oh.
So like, did they not pay the first guy well so that he didn't even become a millionaire after the
No one-
success of the show?
No one becomes a millionaire from reality
No.
TV.
What about if you DJ?
Yeah,
Not
what
even
about
if you
DJ
DJ?
Pauly
But that's
D?
the thing is like that's outside of it.
Oh, the reality. Yeah. Well, but
Yeah.
yeah, you merchandise yourself
Yeah.
based off your popularity.
Yeah, he actually had to quit his construction job, so he became even
Seemed
more,
more
poor
destitute.
after this show.
I've other than Joe Millionaire, I've never watched a legitimate reality like
Competition?
dating show,
Mhm.
especially dating show. But like I've watched Burning Love, which is a parody,
Yeah, which
a
is great.
scripted slash improvised
Sex
parody.
House.
Watch
Yeah.
Sex House.
The Onion.
I treat real life dating like a dating reality show.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Wait,
go
what's-
on dates with women and then I go.
tell 'em you're rich?
You have, yeah. That's the first thing I do. And so I've started borrowing Omar's pay stubs,
Ooh.
and I
okay.
just casually drop them off.
Yeah.
And when I say casually, I mean I put them in front of them
and
and,
then they go,
"These are my pay
you said you
stubs."
were rich.
You said you're.
And I go, well, rich in spirit.
Yeah,
Have
yeah.
you seen Joe Millionaire?
Wait, so did they get together in the end in the original Joe Millionaire, or were they? Was the
Yeah, they got
he-
together in
was
the
his
bush.
partner-
I
like-
recall he did pick the like
One lucky woman.
well, but
Yeah.
I think he did pick the woman who seemed least interested in the money because the slurp slurp woman was like, like she seemed like
She was
she
there
was
for the
after
bag,
the
yeah.
money. And then there's this other woman who she's like, I'm a school teacher or something like that. That she seemed much more
Mm.
modest, and she did end up picking her, but I don't think it lasted.
right?
Normally we would say she was there for the bag, but in this case she was there for the sack.
Which, depending on how much Botox you have, could be
Could be
a smooth ass motherfucker.
What a
or it
smooth
Could be, that's the
segue.
question.
could
Yeah.
be
Question we
lumpy. The
asked before
question
this
is like when your testicles go up in your body, how smooth do you want them to be? You know,
Yeah.
when you
Right.
get cold or what have you.
Wait,
Does the
when your
Botox
testicles
get
go
sucked
Hold on,
up
Justin.
then
Hold on,
too?
hold on.
Unpack all that.
I want it
Yeah.
when your testicles go up
When
in your
you're
body.
cold or scared and your testicles go up into your body,
Uh-huh.
how smooth do you want them to be?
Do you?
Well, it doesn't.
They don't. It
no,
doesn't
it
work
actually
like
gets
that.
wrinklier
Oh, okay.
because,
Yeah. Yours
because
don't-
there's a
yours
certain
don't
amount of
Just go
tension.
straight up.
Mine don't go straight
Just
up
straight
into
up?
my body. Are they supposed to go straight
No,
up
but
into
she's
my
talking
body?
about the
When they retract.
but the
Yeah.
retraction creates a wrinklier scrotum.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
you,
Yeah.
so what we were talking about before the podcast, Botox and why people would get it, and I said the only reason I would get Botox is in my scrotum to see what a perfectly smooth nutsack would look like.
And because I said if I can't see myself in it, I
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
privates.
I want
I
someone-
want to see myself. in those.
So shiny
And
too,
Yeah.
shiny and smooth.
Yeah.
That's what I want to
Yeah.
see.
Sir, yes, sir.
So, but that it would have to be. That's the kind of thing where I assume whatever state you're in when you Botox, that's what you're going to be.
Yeah.
There's no more
Yeah,
transforming.
Seeing as-
Also, by the way, does your scrotum do the transformer sound when it gets cold?
Yeah.
Torture it.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
They do it mostly when they hang down.
that's probably how they should.
Yeah, it's
They should
reversed.
test Botox because balls are like the wrinkliest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
think-
like the grade of Botox you get, they should be like, this will make even balls.
Yeah.
I do think this is the thing that someone has gotten Botox.
Oh,
in their
I'm sure.
scrotum
Yeah.
to smooth it out.
For sure.
I-
That should be like Joe Ball top
Joe Ball.
billionaire. They're like, this person may have the smoothest balls ever.
I wish there was a genital dating show
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
the only thing you got to see of the other person was their genitals.
I've
so the
seen
glory
that.
hole.
I've seen that exact thing. It is a porn video that
Yeah.
I've seen
Mm.
before.
Is there not a? I think there
There
is
is
a
a
show where
naked-
you just see someone's
Yeah,
naked
yeah.
body.
In the
wow.
UK where they
Yeah.
can show whatever they
Of
want
course
to
there
at
is.
5 p.m.
and say crap.
But this is just the genitals.
Just the
it's
genitals.
Jennies.
It's just the penis.
Just
Just
the
the-
Jennies.
Just the vagina.
We'll call it just the Jennies.
Yeah.
Just
Just
the
the
Jennies.
Jennies.
Yeah.
That's really good. Jenny Joe.
Well, somebody get Jeff Probst.
Jeff Pro.
Probst.
I know. Yeah,
Yeah.
we walked into
It
that.
was right there.
What reality show would you be on? Would you be on a reality show? Or like a Survivor. If you could pick any reality show, what would you be on?
Oh God. I feel like no matter what reality show you pick, I'm gonna be really bad at it, especially if it's one of the elimination based ones.
You've been on one and you did not get eliminated.
I did not get eliminated. That is true, because the premise of the show was find people at Rooster Teeth funny.
Oh my goodness!
Oh,
Wow.
take that,
Oh my
achievement hunter!
God.
Is it hot in here? Because
Yeah.
You fucking bastard! No, it was a lot of fun, but I also like the thing with the dating shows is I'm bad. I'm real bad at taking things seriously, and also not. Not that they're taking things seriously, but like I would always go for the bit.
Yeah,
that would be what I would do. So I wouldn't do well on it.
Mm-hmm.
Justin, I could see you doing really well on like an Amazing Race.
Oh, that would be fun. I think that the adventure reality TV is cool.
Yeah.
I would be down for an Amazing Race.
I feel like Man versus Food. I would fucking smash it.
Okay, yeah.
Like I feel like they could do an episode where they had me and that guy face off in an eating competition. I fucking smoke them, and then it's my show.
Yeah.
So like what happened with Trends, with Google Trends?
I could see you on like
That's how I beat Todd.
the Dave Attell. What was that one?
Oh, Insomniac.
Insomniac.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you've got wild stories. You're a comedian. You go out, do kooky things, stay up late, go to cities. So I could definitely see you doing something like that.
I constantly have terrible, awful stories because in my lifetime, whenever I'm presented with the opportunity to do the right thing, which is usually go to a hotel and go to sleep, I do the wrong thing, which is go out and talk to people.
And that's what makes you so fun.
Thanks, Lindsay.
James would be a Bake Off because
definitely.
he'd defy expectations. They'd sell him on the show as like, oh, this strong guy, does he really know how to bake? But then you would, and
Turns
also you do bake at home quite a bit, and you try different things. And I think also you would be like one of those people that someone else would finish preparing. You'd finish preparing your stuff, and then you would help someone else.
Oh yeah.
With their
That's the best thing of
baking.
Bake Off.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I finished with 15 minutes. How can I help you, Nancy?
Mm-hmm.
My dream job is to host a Bake Off.
Really?
Yeah.
I think
Like a
it'd
Noel
be
Fielding?
Yeah, I think Noel Fielding
Maybe
or
you
any
and
of the
I.
other people that have gone through.
You and
that.
I could host a Bake Off.
I think that'd be really fun because I just needed how many is there's 10 or 12 episodes in a season. So I just need to come up with 10 or 12 30 minutes remaining.
Here's the
jokes, and
Funhaus
then-
Bake Off show. We rent a commercial grade kitchen facility here in Los Angeles that has at least maybe 6 stoves.
Well,
in it.
Yeah, okay.
I think we
James-
have one. We have a
James and
toaster oven
I-
and a microwave.
James and I host.
Uh-huh.
And then Funhaus competes.
We'd
You know,
have to judges.
I'm winning, right?
Well, we'll see.
Lindsay
don't know.
did show
Bread
up to the-
week.
She rolled
Yeah,
to the
she-
office
Bread week,
today
Lindsay.
with some fire eclairs.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah. See, that's
Everyone
the thing, though.
brought some shit.
Yeah.
today.
She's gonna score some points in the patisserie section or the
Yeah.
patisserie section.
What about
But-
Biscuit Week? You
Biscuit-
had my cookies.
Also, by the way, biscuits are gonna be actual biscuits,
Yes.
not cookies.
Thank
I
you.
can
Oh, wait,
do
no,
those
no,
too.
no.
I can do those too.
We're gonna have cookie week, and then we're gonna
Yeah.
have biscuit week,
Yeah.
which are gonna be Southern style biscuits.
No.
I watched Lindsay make biscuits and gravy on Instagram, and I thought about breaking into your
did-
fucking house.
Did she serve it to you at 7 in the morning, like people in North Carolina tend to eat?
No.
That's
Oh
what
my
I love
God.
about it.
Yeah, but
Made me
that's
sick.
a breakfast.
make me sick.
Yeah.
I know.
It's good.
This is like one of the first times Elise came back to North Carolina with me, and we were staying at my parents' place. And my best friend Corey, I love him to death. He still lives in North Carolina, and he wanted to be really nice. So he's like, "I'm gonna
And
get
he's
up early."
a really wonderful person.
Oh yeah, and he did this all out of love, and he was like, "I'm gonna bring them breakfast."
Mhm.
And so he went out to Bojangles, which is
I know
an
Bojangles.
East Coast Southern chain.
Yeah.
Fried chicken and all kinds of Southern delights. And then basically rang the doorbell at 7 in the morning. It was like, I brought back breakfast for you guys.
And I want to watch you eat every bite of it.
And it was, and this is what I love. This is what I love about the South. They're like, I don't understand. We're so sick and tired all the time. It was fried chicken biscuit.
Yep.
It was biscuits and gravy, which she had never even seen before.
Because growing up, a biscuit is cookie.
Which
Oh,
is
that's
not-
'cause you're wrong.
Yeah, your biscuits
No,
are wrong.
It's the
Yeah.
queen's.
She doesn't know what she's talking about.
Your biscuits are like your cartoons. They have crap in them.
No,
Because
wait.
here's the thing.
You would
Nice.
call a biscuit, I would think of as like a muffin.
But
No,
that's not
it's
what a
gone.
muffin
What's a
is. We also
muffin?
have
muffin,
muffins.
like an egg.
You can't.
like
Like an English muffin?
English muffin.
Yeah, we
yes.
call them English muffins. The part English
What's next? French
signifies
fries
that
or
they're wrong.
chips?
Yeah.
What happened to people from Canada are beautiful?
Fuck people from Canada.
So he
I
brought
almost
this
knocked over
gravy
the-
biscuit.
Yeah, it was a spread. It was a Bojangles morning,
I
and
felt
there was
so
like
rude, but
maybe one that had egg, but everything else is like
Oof.
fried chicken, gravy. Like it was
That's
basically
heavy.
Thanksgiving on buttered biscuit.
I can never eat. I have never eaten a breakfast from a fast food restaurant where I have felt safe
Oh no!
or like good
Yeah.
oh,
afterwards.
come on.
Are you okay?
I'm gonna go
Like-
grab one of Lindsay's eclairs because they gotta see.
Yeah.
we gotta do a little test. We should do a
Yeah,
little
yeah.
Yeah, do
bake
it.
off.
Okay, we can. All right.
Should
we take a
check for
break?
soggy bottom?
I remember
let's keep going.
I remember in high school when the McGriddle was invented.
Yeah.
And I like was so
Yo.
high where they like inject. It's a pancake bun.
These little maple
and they
crystals.
inject maple into it.
The
and
guy
then it's an egg McMuffin with a pancake.
The
It's
guy
fucked up.
who invented the egg McMuffin or the not the egg McMuffin, the McGriddle.
McGriddle.
Sorry, he's fucking genius.
Yeah.
Like he is, and it's crazy because like everything that he's invented, if you look him up and read the thing, it just sounds like he got real fucking high all
Well,
the time.
he's a genius the same way Oppenheimer's a genius. It's like, yeah, genius. But it's also one of those things that maybe you should have kept it to yourself.
Yeah, but at what
okay?
cost?
Because you've basically traded the future of humanity for sharing your genius.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's what I think.
I've never felt good, but also my family is from the South. My mom's family is from Mississippi and
Mhm.
Louisiana.
Yep.
And so like I would go down there all the time. I've had real biscuits and gravy. I love biscuits and gravy.
Mhm.
I love them to death. And biscuits in general are like very important to me. I like them.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
one time I broke up with a girl because she said I make the best biscuits, and I went,
We'll see about
okay, we'll see about that. And
Yeah.
she made no shit. She pulled out the fucking Pillsbury dough.
I had those
roll.
last night. It was awful.
Yeah.
They're like that's actually like the McGriddle because there's like fucking like butter crystals
in 'em, yeah.
injected into it.
Well, that's also just weirdly sociopathic. I would never say I make an
The
amazing
best,
pizza and
yeah.
then heat up a DiGiorno's.
Giorno, yeah.
Yeah.
I would go, do you want some DiGiorno's? And that's where it would be.
Yeah, that's the
Okay,
Joe
all right.
millionaire. That's like you can't start your relationship on a lie.
Yeah. Well, her point was she was like,
Don't let your
I
food
said,
touch.
I thought you said you make the best biscuits.
Mhm.
And she said, well, no, I just like, I go off script. And I went, what do you mean? And she goes, well,
What?
they say you're supposed to bake them for this, but I like a biscuit a little overcooked. And I was like, I can't.
No.
And I
Ooh.
want to say that like it was the sole reason we broke up, or I want to say it wasn't the sole reason
But
we
it
broke
was-
up,
Yeah.
but like
It was
No, yeah,
definitely,
that's-
it was a
yeah.
seed that
Yeah.
grew into a plant of hate.
it may not have been just the biscuits. It's the idea of telling somebody I make the best X, and then just
Right.
Yeah.
That's so funny that I haven't had those maybe in like 20 years.
Yeah.
But my partner, they like it's like a nostalgia thing. And we were at their parents and they stole it out of the freezer and we took it, there was a little Pillsbury
Yeah.
thing, and they're like, we're taking this. I was like, all right, I don't know what the fuck these are. And then yeah, making them last night, seeing, I was like, what is that? Is it mold? And they're like, no, that's butter. Those are butter crystals.
Speaking of things that were just heated up from the freezer aisle, we have these eclairs.
Ooh,
that-
shot-
So Lindsay
Shots fired.
was making these yesterday. They look beautiful. Presentation.
Was there dairy in them? I didn't pop
You-
any.
Oh
There's
no, there's
definitely
dairy.
dairy.
Definitely
Well,
dairy.
but I
You're
And Lindsay will lose points for that. Yes.
Yeah, there's
Fuck
milk.
it, whatever.
hold up. Let me get this.
But
I'll just
uh,
fart in front of y'all.
Hell yeah.
I need
They
to use
look
my big
beautiful.
tall
Well,
fingers.
for
Good.
COVID, we
There's a
shouldn't.
good
Oh, yeah.
color.
Yeah.
Good color of the chocolate. Smooth chocolate.
on, I
If you
found
look
a
on
hair.
the underside.
Found a hair.
It's Arlen's.
It's Arlen's.
Yeah.
That's probably my hair. Well, that's protein.
I'll just bite it
So-
from the other side.
Mm.
Yeah, it's protein,
All right,
but
so
like
it's good
RNA.
color underneath.
It's like
Okay.
literally protein.
Okay.
This would be the test where everyone would make eclairs and we'd have to rank them blind. No one would just be assigned eclairs. So you'd have to have like Lindsay's
Done.
life story written on them or
Right.
something.
Man versus food.
Small
Done.
rice.
Wow.
Gone.
Mhm.
Mm. It's good.
Who ended up winning? Was
Good
it
crisp.
food?
It was food. Yeah,
crisp.
food ruined
Good
his
crisp
life.
on the bottom. The good flakiness of the pastry.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
It's,
This is
that's a
excellent.
shoe pastry. That's a pâte à choux that I made.
Perfect amount
Good
of
shoe pastry here.
whatever
You
it's
see the
called.
bubbles? You see the even distribution
Claire jizz.
The custard.
Eclair cum?
of bubbles in there?
You talking about the
Pastry
creme?
cream.
Yeah, perfect amount of
creme?
cream.
Good stuff.
Custard is delicious, Lindsay.
Custard, yeah.
Mhm.
That's the word.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed them.
That's good stuff.
It was really good.
You also only have 30 minutes left.
To live?
No, to finish.
She finished.
I'm just letting. I have to let everyone know.
Okay.
That's part of the job.
It's a good job.
Yeah.
What kind of reality show would you do at least?
I would love to be on America's Next Top Model, but back when Tyra was really mean to everybody.
I love that.
Mhm.
Would you want to be one on the modeling side or on the judging side?
Definitely a contestant.
Yeah.
So she would be like, look, we want to keep your beauty. We love your look. We want to keep it natural, but we're going to shave your head and blow your eyebrows off. And I'd be like, what? Because she was constantly putting those women into like harrowing, dangerous situations, things that had nothing to do with modeling, and breaking their spirits and belittling them.
Well, except that what's the best model? A mannequin.
Oh.
A giant hairless,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Botox. Unrealistically
Yeah, I
featured
guess you're
thing
right.
that has nothing that distracts from the clothes. So
I've
Tyra
seen
just knew.
I've seen a movie about a mannequin. I've
it
never
Mannequin
seen
2?
I've never seen a movie about a model before.
That's true. Because in Mannequin 2,
Wow.
Mhm.
What's the movie with Lindsay Lohan and Tyra Banks? That's about a model.
I don't know. I've never
Lohan.
seen
Tyra
it.
Banks.
I don't know that one.
It Takes Two.
Probably.
No, that's the Oltons.
I
No,
remember.
you're
Freaky
thinking
Friday.
of It Takes Mannequin too.
Right. It Takes Mannequin.
What's
2.
the Heidi Klum? She's the German model. Heidi
Mhm.
Klum. That's a person.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
It's
yeah,
called
Halloween.
Life
She
Size.
she was hosting Germany's Next Top Model, and they kicked me out of my rock gym back in the day. So I showed up to my climbing gym, and they're like,
Because you
"It's-"
lived in Germany.
no, they were here.
They were here.
They were here
Oh.
filming in LA for Germany's Next Top Model. And so I show up, I had taken, I drive up to this rock gym. It was really far away at the time. And I show up and they're like, you can't go in. And I was like, what the hell? Why? It's a normal hours. They're like, Heidi Klum's here. And they rent it out for Germany's Next Top Model. So I was like, all right, can I just like wait? And when they're done. So I watched it and it was like you said, like there was no reason. None of these models were rock climbers.
How-
Maybe one had
well-
experience in it, but they're like, today you have to model, but on the wall. And so they were like climbing on the wall.
Because you never
Like
know.
cats.
A model never
Yeah.
knows that they might have to be on a
It's good.
motorcycle.
It's
They might
true.
have to be on the back of a Jeep. They might have to be on a rock wall.
I was just bitter because I couldn't climb.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
My-
also all the models had blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
Germany's
we
next.
will find the best German model ever.
My favorite thing about watching this, because I used to watch America's Next Top Model with my mom all the time, and I'll never be able to forget this. There was one where she was trying to teach them how to smile with your eyes, and she goes, smile with your eyes, do it, to one of the models, and the model goes like, but still smiles a little bit with her mouth, and Tyra goes, that's wrong, you stupid idiot, or like she's unnecessarily mean, and they go, Tyra, show her, and Tyra goes,
Yeah, I know.
and then also smiles with her fucking lips. It just
No,
Naomi was
Jennifer-
right.
Jennifer Love Hewitt is the queen of smiling with your eyes. You
Jennifer
should-
Love Hewitt.
Jennifer
Love Hewitt.
Whoa.
Okay, all right.
Wait.
Can't hardly wait. Party of Five.
Oh yeah.
Jennifer Love Hewitt. If you ever look at a picture of her, can we pull up a picture of her smiling?
yeah. Can we
Her eyes basically do McDonald's arches. It used to drive my mom crazy. But
Smizing is
Why-
not
wait.
a shape.
why?
Smizing
she was like,
is
"What's
an
wrong? Why did she do that
emotion.
with her eyes? What?
Smizing is an emotion.
It's smiling
you
with your
admit,
eyes."
But you
If you saw a picture of Jennifer Love Hewitt, we should play a game.
Well, now in these mask
Jennifer Love
times,
Hewitt
these-
with everything
can you
below
go
her
close on me?
nose
I'm gonna
blocked
smize.
out, you would know that she's smiling because she'd be like this.
I mean, yeah, it's a good
like
skill to
that.
have in these pandemic times when you're masked up.
Oh, she's
There we
looking
go.
at you.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it is.
That's Smize.
I mean, this is if you find her
not
from
a-
Can't Hardly Wait or something like that.
Lindsay,
But
can you
that's-
cut, can you
that's-
cut to
When her
me?
eyes
I'm
were
gonna
younger?
smize.
That's perfect. What'd you say?
wow. Oh.
Whoa.
No.
Mm.
That's creepy.
It's
No.
what is it where you
Do not
pinch-
throw that at me.
There's this right where you pinch your upper lip and then you smile.
That's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's something else entirely.
What?
It like draws it.
That's just Hitler mustache.
It's good.
Oh well. Anyway,
Yeah,
Jennifer
he
Love
looks
Hewitt.
good.
Shout
You
out
look
to
like a
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
model.
to be a fly on the wall during the surreal life and see Bridget Nielsen and Flavor Flav fall in love.
Ugh.
There were plenty of flies on that wall, by the way. They were gathering like they knew something was dying in there.
I watched all of Flavor of Love.
Flavor of Love.
And the follow-up, I Love New York.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Those were
the days. That's when reality TV was just at its peak trash.
Or Flavor and Hoops still together. That's gonna be my. I want to say my gravestone.
Flavor.
Are Flavor and Hoops still together?
There's a great Flavor Flav YouTube video of him at like backstage in like Vegas, and he sees Miley Cyrus, but he thinks that she's Gwen Stefani, and he's just like, Gwen Stefani. He's just like yelling at her, and then like he's like keeps like, I love your work. He's like, and then like his whole crew's like, no, that's Miley Cyrus. They're like whispering to him, and then like at that same Flavor Flav decibel, he's just like, Billy Ray's daughter. Like, it's so good. I love Flavor Flav.
I have realized that the reality show is more encompassing than I previously thought. So like, we've been mentioning shows that are clearly reality shows that I didn't think of. Because when I think of reality shows off the top of my head, I think of like, you know, Keeping Up with the Kardashians or something. And now I want to change my answer. If I was going to be in a reality show, I would want to be in, and I can't remember what it was called, but there was an MTV show where you would go on a date with somebody. But in order to date that person, you had to go on a date with their parents. And then at the end of it, you had to choose whether or not you wanted to date the person you intended to or the parent that you went on a date with.
You can date the parent?
There was a couple episodes where somebody was like,
that's creepy.
Monica, I think you're a real great lady, but me and your mom Sharon just have a connection and I cannot deny it. And then they would make out on the TV. Oh, it was so good.
Wow. Juicy.
Just imagine not knowing that your mom is just fucking getting slammed, dude, and finding out when he says they have a connection.
Is this the one that always did the reveal at the Santa Monica Pier?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. Because there'd be sometimes where they'd choose either the daughter, the mother, or none.
Yeah.
And they'd walk away, and then it would just be the mom and the daughter just standing there.
The nun was the best because it was a 20-something-year-old person basically going, no to you and your entire family.
Generational trauma.
Your house is cursed.
I was like the Room Raiders, where it was the same concept, but you judge their room instead of their parent. Yeah.
I loved Room Raiders because they would always point.
Daniel, 18. He's like, I'm 18. My name's Daniel. I'm 18 years old and I got it all figured out.
I loved Room Raiders because they would always walk into a dude's room and point at everything and go like, I wonder if that's for jerking off. Just everything.
We're bringing in the black light now.
Yeah.
I remember there was one episode where they were in some guy's room and they opened up the closet and it was like a chinchilla farm.
Yeah.
Oh, I would totally date that dude.
I love chinchillas.
Well, he was selling them for food.
Well, he's a provider.
Yeah.
So
Canadians see the best in everybody.
We try.
Yeah, there was that other fucking MTV show, Yo Mama, which was great. It was
I'm not familiar with that one.
Are you serious?
Is that the one where you tell Yo Mama jokes?
They literally,
Oh, okay, I thought it was another dating one.
No. They did Yo Mama jokes, and it was hosted by Fez from That 70s Show,
who was coming back to me.
Clearly checked out of every single episode. Did not care.
I felt like he was also like really overcompensating because everyone knew him as the image of Fez. Yeah. And he was like, "No, I'm hard.
I'm real hard.
I'm real hard."
They would try to fucking slide it in where they would, because they would do the same thing where you would go to your opponent's house and visit their room.
to learn about stuff to diss them on.
Exactly. And so then sometimes they would go to like a house and it would be like in a poor area, and Fez, I don't even know his real fucking name, would sit down and just be like, you know, sometimes when you're from the streets like us, it's just like, dude, you don't need to do this.
His name's Wilmer. He's hard.
He's hard.
Wilmer Valderrama, right?
He's also a fucking snake vampire in the new Dusk Till Dawn TV show.
Hellraiser 2009's from Dusk Till Dawn.
Hellraiser.
Well, and he's coming on the podcast next week. So watch me.
You got Wilmer?
No.
You got Wilmer.
Oh, dang it.
Yo Mama.
I just never realized there was a masculine form of Wilma, right?
I did learn that Freddie Prinze Jr., who was not, a late 90s, early 2000s hunk, he is in the
Late
gaming
2000s
geek scene. He has his own YouTube channel where he creates gaming content and he has like guests and he does tabletop
What?
stuff.
Get him on a
Lindsay-
stream. Get him on
Lindsay,
a...
I mean, Freddie, if you see this, if you're watching,
FBJ.
we would love to have you
Oh my
game
gosh,
with
you'd
us
kill.
at Funhaus and,
Yeah.
and with Lindsay.
What was it like on the set of I Still Know What You Did Last Summer? Did you get to see the suntan booth that
That-
Jennifer Love Hewitt
Almost died in.
smized her way out of?
Lindsay, would you game with FPJ?
FBJ.
And before you answer, dramatic pause, we're going to take a break. So come back after these ads to find out if Lindsay would game with Freddie Prinze Jr.
Dun, dun, dun.
When it comes to New Year's resolutions, who doesn't appreciate a cheat code? Here's a quick one for your savings goals. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month with Mint Mobile. They are the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, and they pass that savings on with a bananas starting rate of only $15. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data on the nation's largest 5G wireless network. Plus, you can keep your phone, your number, and all your existing contacts. And with Mint Mobile, you can choose the amount of monthly data that's right for you and stop paying for data that you don't use. Funhaus member John Smith uses Mint Mobile constantly, and he won't shut up about it.
I know. He swapped over to it years ago,
Yeah,
and he's never gone back.
never gone back.
Yeah.
And John Smith has never been wrong about anything.
Oh.
My boy is minted.
He's good with his money. He
He
knows how
is.
to save. And so
So to get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/FHpod. That's mintmobile.com/FHpod. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/FHpod. And we're back. And we have a very important question for Lindsay. James,
Yeah.
you want to tee us up?
Lindsay, you've had a couple minutes to think about it. Would you game with Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Yes, and we would make a Call of Duty montage, and the song would be Sixpence, None the Richer, Kiss Me. So yes.
Wow.
Freddie, you heard it here. We'd love to have you.
I'd love to
Love
have
to
you.
have
And
you
his,
at
his,
Funhaus.
his partner,
I got a
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Freddie,
I
I
just
got a
want
question.
a triple kill to
SMG.
Yeah.
SMG, yeah.
Oh, that's probably why he
Absolute
likes
queen.
COD so much.
Yeah,
I wanna-
she only uses SMGs in COD.
Oh my God.
SMGs?
Can I
City
wanna
Mints
practice?
Gooners?
Freddie, it's amazing having you on the podcast. I have only one question that I want to ask you. Was it hard also playing a character named Fred in Scooby-Doo? Because people would say, Fred, we need you. And that could refer both to you, the actor, or you, the character. Was that difficult for you?
I request from then on only to play characters named Fred.
He kind of did. He was in a show called Freddie.
I have no further questions.
I have no Freddie questions.
Well, if
Thank
you're
you for your
watching,
time.
Freddie, love to have you. You're always welcome.
I'll come up with some more questions
Yeah.
from before
Yeah.
that.
If you're watching Freddie, I would hate to have you.
Probably about Summer Catch.
Oh yeah. A big regret because his character wasn't named Freddie.
No,
it was really hard.
no.
You know, it's just the amount
I
of
saw the
takes
movie
you
in
have to do
theaters.
because you get confused.
I saw the movie in
It's like
theaters.
Jackie Chan. It's
Yeah.
like just call me Jackie.
Just call me
Simpler,
Jackie.
It's quicker.
Yeah.
I always love that in a movie when it's clear that like the person they brought in for comedic relief needed to be named after themselves. Otherwise, it was too complex for them.
This character is named Barty Lang.
Oh man,
Well, that just made me think of Bob Saget, which made me sad.
oh yeah,
Wow.
R.I.P. Bob Saget. That
Do you think he
sucks.
was a gamer?
No.
I don't think so.
Damn.
I was saying, what a world we live in where like Full House, we're losing people from Full House.
Yeah. It's just gonna keep
It makes you
happening.
feel really old. This is
Yeah.
how my parents felt
James
when
Avery.
Desi Arnaz died.
My birthday is tomorrow. I'm turning 26, and I've been, every time your birthday comes around, you think a lot about aging, growing
Mhm.
older.
Mhm.
And I've realized that over the past few years, I've been feeling my body deteriorate.
Yeah.
Like I'm feeling it falling apart as it is now. I just
Mhm.
have pains that are just there.
Yeah.
They're just constant.
And like,
Hold on. you say this, and then before this podcast, you told me a story about how you door dashed Sizzler shrimp.
Yep.
And then
hold on.
And then forgot about it, left
because I was high.
Because he was high, and then ate like 45-minute-old Sizzler DoorDash shrimp
that had already sat in somebody's
Once you
car.
said DoorDash Sizzler, I was like, you've made too many mistakes.
That had sat in somebody's car for an extra, like for 20 minutes already.
So you can turn your life around.
I just
morally, it's too late for me.
I morally take issue with that because you don't even get to hear the sizzling. The whole point of Sizzler is to hear the sizzling, and you've deprived yourself of what Sizzler has to truly offer.
Sizzler in my family is the place you go to celebrate somebody graduating from high school, which rarely happens, or somebody getting out of prison, which happens a lot.
Okay.
That's where we would go. I told Omar already. Every time we would go to Sizzler, my dad would put on his nicest black polo and his cleanest Air Force Ones. And we would get into the dirty SUV that he did not have registered. And we would drive to the Sizzler, pregame in the parking lot, and then go in and get kicked out as a family. That's what Sizzler is all about. And I was feeling nostalgic, and I wanted to order some. I saw the shrimp, and I got it, and I ate it, and then I got food poisoning immediately.
I'm shocked.
And then I had to cancel on going out for drinks with Cody, Cody's a TD from Austin.
Yeah.
Who helped set up all of these fucking lights, and kind of him and Rick and some other people that have been here have been putting together the studio, making it fucking beautiful. And I felt really bad because I love hanging out with Cody, and I couldn't because I got food poisoning.
All out of your own control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say you can live a long and prosperous life.
I don't want to live a long and prosperous life. I used to be.
You want to eat DoorDash shrimp.
I want to.
Thanos made an easier decision. Than ordering Sizzler on DoorDash seafood.
I used to. I used to be so afraid of dying. Like it was my biggest fear. And now I've realized like that fear.
Now you welcome it.
Kicked in at 24. I'm going to be 26 tomorrow, and it's like I'm done.
Well, you're over the hump now because your brain is still developing, growing, forming until you're 25.
Yeah.
And then it's all downhill from.
They also said that you keep, growing in height until you're 25. So I'm glad that's finally cut itself off.
Your ears and nose.
They keep going.
Yeah, they keep going.
Yeah.
I'm trying to destroy my body slowly, but also I can feel it being destroyed.
I was saying you're doing it quickly.
Yeah. Well, this is why I'm gonna die, and then you guys will be like, "Wow, we're losing people from Funhaus now." From Funhaus,
our most recent hire, most recent and youngest hire.
Well, because that's the thing is like I'm gonna get to 56 and die, and they're gonna be like, "Well, it wasn't a DoorDash delivered incident," but it's like, yeah, it's because of all the DoorDash
shrimp. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's the shrimp from before.
Will you pursue legal action against DoorDash?
Will I take legal action against DoorDash?
No, they can sue him.
Yeah. I did get mad at DoorDash because on top of the stuff that I ordered, I also ordered a thing of mac and cheese, and it didn't show up. So I got to say, it didn't show up. And they said, we'll refund your order. So I got free food poisoning.
Wow. They didn't even charge
you. They probably knew. They were throwing... Don't give them the mac and cheese. That's even worse than the shrimp.
You ever see discussions on death and see that some people are like, I'm not afraid of death. I didn't exist for billions of years before I existed now.
Stupid.
And I was like, yeah, but you didn't have conscious awareness then either, dog.
Yeah. So here's the thing is like I went through just like everyone in 2020, I went through an existential crisis of realizing that I was going to die. But previously to that, I had the concept that I was going to die, but it never kicked into my brain that one day I will actively lose consciousness.
That didn't happen to you until you were 25?
24.
Oh, wow. That feels late.
No, but that's what I'm saying is like, I knew I would die.
How old are you? 3?
Like 8.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've lived a pretty privileged life of like,
living.
Yeah. I'm named after a guy who got killed when he was 15 in a drive-by. That's where the name Armando Torres comes from. Anything past that, I'm fucking living the life. So I never realized that I was going to die until this moment. And once I did, I started freaking out about it. And again, the concept of dying I got, and I used to freak out about it. But I mean the the idea of all of this stuff that I'm doing means fucking nothing. There's no reason to do anything. There's no reason to go forth.
Nihilism.
Yeah. It really fucked me up. I had a mental breakdown. I moved in with my mom for a couple months. I was like focused primarily on trying to fix my mental health. And I was getting so upset with people who would say that thing about the consciousness because it felt like going to a village and seeing a dragon and the dragon's just fucking everything up. And you go, that's terrifying. And they go, well, you didn't know about the dragon before you came here. And it's like, well, yeah, but now I know it's there and it's always lurking and one day it's going to come get me. And they go, well, there's nothing we can do about the dragon. So just don't worry about the dragon. And one day the dragon will come and take you and destroy everything you've built up and nothing that you ever do will have ever mattered.
I mean, it's also like saying, well, you know, before there was no village here before.
Yeah.
So the dragon is just sending it back to the way the village was.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but the village as it stands now has my SNES Mini in it.
Yeah, exactly.
I always, whenever those thoughts happen to me, I think about the alternative, which is living forever. And like, that just sounds exhausting.
I'd
much rather die.
I told my therapist that I would rather hell be real and live for an eternity having the consciousness than to go out.
Well, I don't know if it makes you feel any better, but I feel like most people probably don't know that they died.
No, you don't.
Think I think your brain, your body has like systems in places which we've seen chemically, which are like they just flood you with stuff.
Yeah, you get super high for free, baby.
And it's like so you probably never reach that point. You probably do consciousness into eternity.
Yeah.
Because it just completely saps any sort of sense of time and place or whatever. And then that's, you know, then you just become this entity, which makes it less scary for me.
Your brain dumps all its reserves of DMT.
Yeah.
I'm just worried that I'm going to die before the Dreamcast Mini.
Right.
I'm just afraid I'm going to die before I get to get
there's going to be endless Dreamcast Minis.
That's true.
Endless. And what's cool about
right
DMT is that it disrupts your perception of time.
Yeah.
So you have an eternity of playing. You're going to get an N64 mini.
That's what everyone.
You're going to get a PS5 mini.
Kill me now.
That's what everyone thinks like a near life experience is, or you see your life flash before your eyes when you die because the DMT flood is creating that visual. I like getting older. I know I've talked about this, but like.
Not me. For you.
I get happier and happier the older I get. I feel like I like myself more the older I get, and I also feel like it. You know, it's every year I'm like, that's another year that maybe I thought I wasn't gonna get. Like,
it's a bonus every year.
Yeah, every year is great because I will want to keep living. But I also think that like matter cannot be created nor destroyed, and I do think like. When you die, you re-enter the surroundings of the universe, and I'm fine with that.
It helps a lot. Also, if anyone has the same fear, a couple things that I would recommend is like On Death and Dying, which is a great book by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who is a follower of Ram Dass. Ram Dass and sort of his whole bullshit is good to a point because he's a guru. And he makes a lot of great points, but then he'll start telling you how to live your life. And it's like, well, hold on.
Yeah, take it easy, pal.
So I do like that idea, but also I know nothing except for consciousness and the idea.
Sure.
And that's Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's whole fucking point in her book is like a human has no idea of what not having consciousness is because when you're unconscious, you're not experiencing anything. Yeah. So your entire perception of everything is consciousness. And to take that away in the human brain, there's no way to detach that as something being done against you. So we don't see death as like a thing that's supposed to happen. We see it as a slight against us from the world or something.
You know what all of this reminds me of?
What's that?
Because I know we don't have a lot of time left. Jingle All the Way.
I was just about to say that.
Fantastic movie.
Yeah, so we'd been talking about Jingle All the Way because James, a big fan.
I'm a big fan. You brought it. We were talking about nostalgia movies. I had recently
watched it. We were talking about nostalgia movie. I had recently watched it over the Christmas break or the holiday break, and I'd also recently watched Total Recall, another Schwarzenegger classic, and Total Recall I hadn't seen in a long time, and in watching it, I realized that it very to spoil the movie, sorry if you haven't seen it, don't listen to this next bit.
There's 3 titties in it.
But yeah, there are 3 titties in it. But in the end, it's about, he's trying to get a memory implanted and about being a cool spy going to Mars. But then as that happens, they realize, oh no, he is a real spy. And he ends up going to Mars. But then the whole time you're like, okay, is this truth or is this the memory implant working? And it seemed very obvious when I watched it now as an adult and as like someone who's worked in film. I was like, oh, it seems like very intentionally that this was all in his head, and this man is not a hero, but is actually a sociopath or a narcissist,
or taking a heavy DMT trip,
and that he's like really. And the way it ends with the fade to white, not fade to black, and when you see, there's just lots of little hints throughout, and I was like, wow, that was really bold for the time, because you get your Hollywood happy ending, but in reality, it's an extremely dark, unsettling film.
It's like an Inception.
About a man who is deeply unsatisfied with his life, and instead of confronting that, goes down a narcissistic path to become his own hero.
Sorry, this is Jingle All the Way?
So yes.
Paul Verhoeven doesn't miss.
Yeah. And so I watched Jingle All the Way, classic, Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, and no lesson is learned. Like, Arnold Schwarzenegger is a horrible person that only acts out of self-interest the entire film. And in the end, you think that a lesson is learned, but he's only rewarded for this behavior. And he ends up in his own cycle of hell because he goes through, he's a shitty father, a shitty husband, and he keeps trying to do the bare minimum to make up for all the shit that he's done to impress his child by doing all these horrible things to finally get the doll that the child wants. And he finally, he ends up becoming the guy and, tricking his son into loving him. And you're like, okay, maybe like there will be a lesson learned. Zero lesson learned. The movie ends, and then his wife comes to him and is like, oh, so what did you get to our anniversary? He looks to the camera, oh, fuck, I have to do this all again. And he just keeps trapping himself in this hell loop because he refuses to just be a good person, admit when he's wrong, admit that he's fucked up, and just keep perpetuating lies in order to cover for himself. Brilliant film that I didn't know as a kid. I thought he was a hero, and now I'm like, wow, this was the Total Recall for children.
So I also love Jingle All the Way. It's a Christmas classic for me.
Oh yeah.
I think it's great, and I love it specifically for 2 reasons beyond just how fun it is. Number one, I think that says a lot about how modern filmmaking is done and why I personally enjoy it less, because this movie comes from an age where some studio executive came up with a stupid premise. A guy needs to do anything he can on Christmas Eve to get the toy, the hottest popular toy for his kid, because he forgot, right?
Do you remember if this was before or after the Tickle Me Elmo thing?
I think it was around that same time. I mean, like Power Rangers too.
Right.
Like Power Rangers had the same stuff where you couldn't find them and everything. So it was like around that time of like
Cabbage Patch Dolls too. It was like 80s.
It was,
you know?
it was
Like a
when it's like
PS5.
as soon as they started doing like this is the toy of the year, right?
Yeah.
And it became a thing. Beanie Babies, all that stuff.
Right.
So clearly it came from a place of like looking at real life and then saying how we make a movie. But then they gave it to a screenwriter who wrote a coherent script, who gave it to and did his best from this dumb premise. And they probably said Arnold's attached. So already going in, you're like, okay. So you make this, write this best script that you can from this silly premise and with a ridiculous lead. And then you give it to a director, and the director says, okay, we got the script. I'm going to make the script to the best of my ability and do that. And the end result is this movie that's inherently flawed because of the starting point, but every single step after that is good, and it means it's a watchable thing. Like it's like, oh, it's going to keep coming back again and again, despite how stupid it is. And there's a lot of movies from the 80s and 90s that fit that bill. It's like terrible idea, but they had a coherent vision from that point on, and then they made a coherent movie. That's why I love it, number one. But number two, I love it, and I've probably talked about this before.
Well, you
Funhaus.
don't love it.
I appreciate what it seems to maybe depict.
Well,
it's a harsh truth. It casts a mirror on society.
Yes.
Where you have a upper middle class white man, right?
That is most of society.
And a lower like working class black man.
That's my society.
Taking the exact same actions to achieve the exact same goals. And at the end of the movie, for them choosing those exact same paths, the white man is lifted up on the shoulders of his community and celebrated as a literal hero. And the black man is carted away to jail.
Yeah.
His child is given the toy at the end, which I always think is the funniest, like, fuck you in the whole thing. His like the kid goes, here, you can have it. And he's like, my dad's going to jail tonight and I may never see him again.
Yeah.
Like, he's almost certainly going to lose his job.
Yep.
He's going to lose his pension.
His government job.
Like, he's going to lose all that. He's never going to be able to work again. I don't know how long he's going to be gone, but your dad's, they're having a parade for him now. And I think it's really funny because they do the exact same, like, no one goes further than the other, really, at any phase of the process.
I think it's really strange that they typecast Sinbad as a guy who can't get work anymore.
How dare you?
Yeah, that's an attack.
That's
an attack.
Yeah, but I agree. I don't unlike Total Recall, which I believe was intentional. I don't know if it was intentional in Jingle All the Way, but if it ends up being this like harrowing critique of like American class and consumerism.
Yeah.
I don't think it was intentional.
I don't know that it was,
but because it goes so far in being so unredeemable in every way, I honestly becomes this like beautiful like satire thing. And like, so like, again, I don't know if I should give people accolades that made it because I don't believe it was intentional, but now looking at it as a film, knowing all these things and like, I remember when my partner and I were watching it, we were commenting about, the Sinbad's fate. And like, I was like, wow, this is like, are they trying to say something about class? And like, at the end, we're like, okay, I don't think any of this is intentional, but it does, if you,
still sticks to the landing somehow.
It somehow sticks to the landing.
And it's only really because it's coherent visions. Like, it's someone told a coherent story, and stories require certain elements. So.
You've seen that, that whole idea about how like after an artist puts out their work, the intention is put on the viewer or the people enjoying it.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if there was their intention to do that. That's what you got out of it.
Yeah. Seeing.
And I think the reason that I give it the benefit of the doubt and push it into that is because Phil Hartman's performance is just
he's great.
It's beautiful. It's perfectly satirical and real. And
who said you could eat my cookies?
Yeah. And he like because like and it's like why I like The Simpsons I thought transcended a lot of things is like he just perfectly nails that tone of like but like that brilliant satire that's also like commentary.
Yeah. I know we have to end this, but I want to say one thing. A fun thing to do is to watch a movie like Total Recall and then watch a remake. Because all those things that you're describing in the first one are completely absent. They're stripped of it. I watched the remake recently. I watched a lot of remakes. I watched the remake of Total Recall, the remake of Karate Kid, and all of them are like, you missed the point.
Yeah.
Like, who gave you this? Because you clearly didn't understand the point of any of these films, and you made something that is devoid of substance. You've only taken the wrong, like, even the three-boobed thing appears in the new Total Recall, but it's gratuitous nudity in the first film, but it's placed at a time where you're like, oh, we've established that they have like strange mutations and stuff, and this is like an oddities place, and you can go get all your fantasies fulfilled. In the Colin Farrell remake, she's just on the street. Like it's like, oh, we got to get the three boobs in there, and they just put it in there. It's just really funny to see how things have just farted into nothingness.
Don't remake any of my films.
Oh my gosh, Jennifer Coolidge.
They all hold up.
Wow.
That's such a good Coolidge impression.
Yeah. Well, it's not, but I'm working on it.
Do Jennifer Coolidge talking to Owen Wilson about the show Friends.
Oh, Jen. Well, so Jen, you were never on Friends. It was a different Jen on Friends. Yeah. Yeah. I was busy on the indie circuit at the time. I can't.
Thank you.
And I have Owen
Jennifer Coolidge was on Friends.
Whoa.
She was Phoebe. Something to do with Phoebe?
Yeah, it was like Phoebe and Monica's friend from London. Anyways, the end.
Wow.
Well, that's it for me.
Yeah, this has been really nice. I just, Go watch a good movie and remember that we're all going to die one day.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Who said you could eat my cookies?
Until next week.